That's right, folks. It's time for AvaTalk. Episode 123. Episode 3. Welcome on in, everyone. And now, let's see where we are tonight. That's right. We're in the Earth Kingdom. How wonderful is that? And speaking of wonderful, we have none other than Acorn Bandit. As I unmute everyone. There we go. Acorn, say hello to the wonderful people at home.
Hello, wonderful people at home.
Yes, that's right. And speaking of wonderful people at home who can get a sentence out, we also have Sir Greg.
Hello. Thank you, unnamed announcer. Thank you so much, everyone. Hello. Welcome to another episode of AvaTalk. We see so many wonderful people in the chat right now that are watching us live. So many. It's not overwhelming at all. Just take a sip of my little drink here. Let's say hello to everyone kind of coming in. We got Dylan, Maddie, Zach. Oh, that's you, Acorn. Hi, Acorn.
Hi.
Rob. Who else is here? I think I saw Benji in here at one point. Oh, Benny. It's Benny. It's not Benji. Benny, Zen, HG. So many wonderful people in here. And old and new alike. That's what we like to see. That's what we like to see. So, without further ado, I think we should tell them what we're talking about tonight.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. So, actually, you know what? I feel like you should announce the subject matter.
Okay.
Do it.
I can absolutely do that. It is a very exciting topic with many different variations, styles, and personal affinities. We are talking about bending tonight.
Ooh, bending. This is something that a lot of people have written into us. They've left a lot of comments about a lot of 5-star reviews about all of that. So it's about time that we really dive into, that we really break into. No, I don't want to. It's a little too close to another podcast. Let's just bend the legality system a little bit. That's the pun. It was a stretch, I know, but it's fine. Let's talk.
We got there in the end.
We got there in the end. We took the scenic route because we're in the Earth Kingdom. Look at the wonderful swamp that we're in.
It's beautiful. This is, of course, from our album art,
yes.
If you recognize that, which is done by the amazing Murgles, who you can find here on Twitch.
Yes.
If you go over to the search bar and type in Murgles with 2 G's, Mirggles. She is a wonderful streamer who is currently making an animated film, and we love her dearly.
Yes, we love her to pieces. I couldn't think of a pun. Sometimes, you set yourself up for a pun and your brain just lets you down. That's what it's going to be. Maybe this is going to be a real punless AvaTalk. We'll see what happens. We'll see what the pun deities have in store for us. Who do we have that wrote in first about bending, though?
First, we have Kate, and I do believe we've covered Kate's message before, but it was so good I wanted to bring it up again because it ties in perfectly with tonight's theme of bending. Kate writes, during the King of Omashu review, you two wondered out loud if crystals could be bent. However, I'm pretty sure that Aang makes a tent of crystals during the showdown with Azula and Zuko in the city underground of Ba Sing Se in order to... Your cursor's in the way.
Oh, I'm
Greg.
sorry. Let me just highlight everything for you.
To access the Avatar state. I thought this was super interesting and a point to be further discussed. And of course, at this point, we've been past that episode. So now we can really dive into the concept of crystal bending.
Yeah. So this is something when we first talked about the rock candy crystals, and it was the Earth King of Omashu himself, Bumi, who said that he can only bend this kind of crystal, this kind of rock. And I believe the discussion that we had went along the lines of I don't know if I believe him. Like, it kind of seems up his alley to just make something up like that, something pretty ridiculous, and then just seeing if anyone calls him out on it, essentially. Then people wrote in and said, well, Aang does crystal bend later on in the series at the end of book 2. And I was like, oh, I'd be very interested to see, like, if this is the same crystal, because they made a very big stink out of Boomy being the only one to be able to bend these crystals. Now, after seeing both episodes, and I did go back and rewatched the King of Amashu episode after book 2, I still think that Boomy, I don't remember what I said back then. That was like last year. You can't trust last year, Greg.
You can't hold Greg to what he said last year.
You
That's
can't,
ridiculous.
What is this, like on the internet permanently forever? I don't know where I fall in this argument, but I do think that there's a difference between the rock candy crystals and the crystals that Aang was earthbending at the end of book 2. I don't think they're the same thing. The creeping crystals, I think was their nickname. So
yep.
I don't know. What do you think?
That is pretty much where I landed too. Yes. Yeah. And actually, if you are one of our patrons on Patreon, you can see that crystals were on my mind this week because that made its way into our doodle page. But that is essentially what I landed on too. I think there's a difference between creeping crystals and the crystals that are under Ba Sing Se in the crystal caverns. Also, because those crystals were the major export of, or I guess major natural resource of Ba Sing Se, and they use it all over the city, and they glow and they have different properties. And so I think those are more like regular earth than any other crystal, which is why they can be bent. And in the same episode where, or at least that two-parter, where Aang makes the tent out of crystals, the Dai Li also bend crystals. So I think it's a normal thing that earthbenders can do, but my headcanon goes with what Boomy said.
Yeah.
And that because he's such a powerful earthbender, he was able to learn how to bend genomite or creeping crystal.
Do you think that, here's a fan theory for you. Do you think that they're just normal crystals and Boomy was secretly bending them to creep up every once in a while?
I do like that, actually. I like that a lot. Like maybe it doesn't creep at all until it's placed somewhere, and the other person that really does that is Boomy, and so he can just make it look like it's creeping and call it creeping crystal.
Yeah, because it was just sitting there, it wasn't creeping. It doesn't creep indefinitely, right? Otherwise they wouldn't be able to like make it in a ring form.
They would reach space.
Right. The whole world would be just a creeping crystal. So yeah, I think maybe there is a little smoke being blown around here. Just little mirrors and smoke and all of that stuff. All right. All right, I'm glad we landed on that. So official.
Before we jump to a different topic though, I just noticed we have another comment about crystal bending. So
we do.
Let's talk about that first.
Yeah.
Just to tie on to our thoughts, Menifer also wrote in about crystal bending and was saying that they personally think it's also a normal trait of earthbending because we see a couple people do it. They're the ones who specifically mentioned the Dai Li, and that made me go, oh yeah, and go back and watch. And yep, sure enough, the Dai Li bend with crystals. So yeah, I think that's where we landed. So thank you, Menifer and Kate, for bringing that up to us.
Yes. The next one, moving away from crystals and the fact that they're just normal crystals that Boomy makes into creeping crystals. That's the official Avatar, the Last Airbender Avatar of the podcast theory. We got this coming up from Christian S. And Christian asks, which subset of bending is your favorite? As an earthbender, deep down, I'd have to say it's metal bending for me. Interesting. So what's your favorite subset, Acorn?
Oh, this might be controversial, but I think blood bending.
I was going to say that. I should have gone first. Then you would have been copying me.
Well, you shouldn't have maybe gone first. Yeah, I think it's blood bending because it's just so interesting to think about someone having the ability in this world that for the most part is very wholesome.
Yeah.
That can reach the point of controlling another person's body. And as a writer, that's something that I find really exciting, because you could do really fun things with the concept, which of course the creators of Avatar do. We cover one of my favorite episodes in a couple episodes where we see a return of bloodbending. So it's just exciting, and it's dark, and it's controversial.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes it's exciting as like a story element.
Yeah, especially in a world that's not necessarily so dark. It has its moments in its drama, right? But like bloodbending is a big departure from what we've seen so far. Like a lot of the hidden depths and darkness are either implied or you really have to kind of dig for through fan theories. But bloodbending is like, boom, here you go. Waterbenders can control people against their will, and it's painful. It's like, geez. If bloodbending is off the table right now, I think I would probably have to go with, this is going to be like such a plain answer, but I think I have to go with metal bending, just because how cool Toph makes it look. Like she uses it essentially as like super strength. So when she could probably just like bend metal open, right? Like if she has to get through a metal wall, but instead she like uses her hands and like pries it open with her bare hands.
It does look like a superhero moment,
really cool.
almost.
It's really cool. Plus, I remember kind of what they do with it in Korra in terms of like a practicality standpoint, and that was also really cool. I won't go into it too much because spoilers and all that. We're not talking about Korra on even AvaTalk until we reach it, but metal bending is it's the big first subset that we really see, in my opinion. They made such a big deal. We see the creation of it right in front of us in real time versus having to go back and look through the eyes of the creator of bloodbending. So really cool.
Here's a thought.
Yeah. Oh, and there's lightning. I forgot about lightning.
And there's lightning, which we haven't seen the creation of either. I think off the top of my head, and I could be wrong about this.
Yeah.
I think we've only seen the creation of metal bending and bloodbending through Hama's story.
Right.
What I would like to see is the origin story of healing.
Oh, that one's lame.
A subset.
I don't like healing.
It's not.
It's lame.
No, it's not. Think
DPS
of it this way.
all the way.
Think of it this way.
Yeah.
Now that Avatar is a company, production company, and we're going to get a lot more Avatar content. There's a possibility that we can see the origin of different characters, different cultures, and different bending styles, which we do sort of with Korra. And if this makes its way into Korra and I just don't know about it, that's on me. I haven't seen the whole season the whole series.
Yeah.
But if you think back to the water tribes and think of like a cool way that healing as a subset of waterbending came about and who created it and how it saved the day during that time period, that could be a cool story. Maybe it was like before Avatar Kuruk, or way before that. Who knows?
Yeah,
it can have a cool origin.
I say it's lame. It's not lame, but I'm just saying not to get a rise out of people. It's fine. I do want to change my answer to lightning generation though, and lightning. What is the other one? Lightning. I always call it degeneration.
Redirection.
I call it degeneration. I don't know why. Redirection. I think because it involves an understanding of all of the elements, which is really cool. In the fact that they introduced it in a way that the Fire Nation kind of figured it out, and it's a Fire Nation trait, and they're the villains of, at least of the first series. So it kind of goes to show you like they weren't always that way, and there was this deeper understanding of the world, of the elements, and how they interact with each other, because you have to know them, as Iroh showed Zuko, that there's knowledge to be taken from each other's culture, and you can incorporate that into your bending, and then you get like a whole new subset of bending skills. So I think I'm going to change it from metal to lightning, because it's just, A, it looks really cool. B, it has a really like deep and interesting place in the world.
Message.
Yeah, global message, place in the world. Yeah. So that's my answer. Subset lightning.
Okay. And metal bending gets an honorable mention from both of us.
Yes. And we haven't hit Korra yet, so we might I heard there's some other bendings in Korra that I don't even know about yet. And I heard it. I was like, oh, nope, spoilers. Stop reading this email. So I look forward to seeing those.
Our next message comes from Martha C., who wrote, have you considered glass bending being part of earth bending? Because, you know, glass is made of sand. I haven't until now, but I think that's a very, very cool concept. In one of our episodes, we talked about how cool it would be to see a whole city made out of earth, like Omashu, but to the next level, like beautiful, artisanal, advanced architecture. Like think Art Nouveau or something that's really detailed like that, but made out of earth. And I feel like you could do some really cool things by making a city like that out of glass, because then you could have, you could combine the two. You could have like such a beautiful, like drop dead gorgeously intricate city if you combined earth and glass, because both would be you're just making the city of Oz at this point is what you're doing. I think I am. It's, you know, stick it in the Earth Kingdom. There's a lot of green. So there you go.
Yeah, that's true.
The emeralds.
Oh, or you just get the glass and you maybe wrap it around the creeping crystals. And there you go. Those are green, or just regular crystals. Those are always green. Glowy.
Yeah, green and glowy. Lanterns.
Yeah. Ooh. That'd be cool.
There has to be glass bending in the world of Avatar somewhere. I think we're going to run into it one day.
I feel like also a glass city is not the best idea because of sun rays and potential fires. And then the whole city melts.
You're thinking about it too literally. Then we're going to get light benders who can redirect the light of the sun.
That's just a green lantern. That's what that is. Yeah.
But no, I have thought about it. And it reminds me actually of this one movie that I watched growing up with my family, Sweet Home Alabama. One of the plot points is the character takes sand that's been struck by lightning on the beach and turns it into these beautiful like glass creations. And so I was thinking that would be really cool. And maybe there's a weird combination. Maybe it takes an earthbender and a firebender to create glass. Maybe it's not so much bending, but they can like
I like that.
Fuse their bending powers and turn sand into glass. I don't know.
Yeah, because you have to heat the sand to a certain point to get glass, right? This is how much science I know. I think that's accurate. No one correct
That's what we remember from
That's what I remember
school.
From maybe school or something I saw at one point. So yeah, you can't really have one without the other. So maybe it would be well, it could be both technically. Like an earthbender or a firebender could potentially glass bend.
We're both waffling so much because we're actually trying to reason it out with
science.
Well, actually.
innately, it would be an earthbender for sure. But I would make the argument that a firebender could melt it down. Same thing with metal, though, I guess. So I'm going back to Earth. Final answer. Okay. Not waffling
final
anymore.
Answer.
That's what it is. That would be really cool to see. Interesting. I hope I see that glass bending. I don't think we haven't seen that yet, right? I don't remember that.
Nope.
Okay. I was making sure I'm not crazy.
I did. I know. Yeah. I did have to think about it to make sure that we haven't seen it yet, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
So there's hope. It might show up somewhere.
Maybe in Korra, maybe not. Maybe in some other things. We'll find out. We'll find out.
The new stuff.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Right. We have Alex from the UK. And Alex writes, what do you guys think is the most powerful type of bending?
Oh, here's another deep thinker. This is going to take us a bit to work through. Because I think there's an innate strength in every style of bending.
Yes.
And it's kind of like a game of rock, paper, scissors where they're all kind of equal because they can all kind of cancel each other out in some ways and be stronger than others in other ways.
Right. And I think that's kind of the point of like the world is everything of the world, man. Let me just get real general for everyone. I think it's kind of like the point of Avatar is no one element is stronger than the they're all pretty equal. Like they all have different not power points, but they all have different perks and weaknesses. But at the end of the day, like You know, it's rock, paper, scissors. Fire beats earth, but, you know, water beats fire. Like, you know, all that stuff. All the Pokemon
Air beats
rules.
water.
Air beats water. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think what we have to do is take a step back and look at the subset of bendings, and whichever one has the most subsets is probably the most quote unquote powerful.
I think that's the most fair answer.
Yeah.
That we could get to. Yeah.
So you're not going to like this. According to the wiki, avatar.fandom.com/wiki/specialized_bending_techniques, they're pretty much even. Airbending only
of course
has
they are.
Airbending only has two subsets, which is flight and spoilers. Well, not really spoilers. Spiritual projection is two. I think we've seen that when he goes in the spirit world, but I could be wrong. Firebending has combustion bending, which is the coolest looking and sounding of the subset bending, in my opinion. I moved my window out of the Zoom window just so I could see you and say that, Acorn. Okay, let's put this back in the way. I feel like I was like peeking over a fence. Anyways, earth bending has lava bending, metal bending, and seismic sense. Water bending has blood bending, healing, and spirit bending. So water, earth, and fire both have 3.
That's pretty balanced.
It's very balanced.
Do we throw sand bending on top of it to make someone win?
I mean, we could, but like I feel ultimately, throwing all of my logic out the window, I think it's firebending is the most powerful because it could take down potentially the most of them. So if you fan a flame, it just gets more powerful. So there's airbending kind of goes right out. The oxygen will feed it. With firebending, you've put enough heat on that and you're going to get glass and just break that pretty easily. This is where it gets tricky with water, because most of the more deadly attacks from waterbending have been ice-based. So fire can melt ice, but then it just turns back into water unless it gets hot enough, then he evaporates it.
This is like volcano level, because if you have a wall of water, it's just going to evaporate. It's not enough to put out that amount of heat.
Yeah. So I think for me, the most powerful is firebending. It's also my favorite. That's neither here nor there.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's just I just laid out the reasoning. It's science from elementary school science books, I'm sure.
While I hate it, I think I agree with you.
Yes. I knew.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's also the way it's portrayed in Avatar, the Last Airbender as well, is the Fire Nation is the most technologically advanced so far. They are a force to be reckoned with. There's your pun, Rob. You're welcome. And they just I don't know, they just feel so powerful. And maybe that's because they've pretty much taken over the world at this point. And that's why we're getting that sense. I think maybe we revisit this question once we've gotten it into or through all of Korra and see how the world has changed and see if firebending is still kind of up there in that regard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good question to revisit once we get to Korra.
All right. Who's next?
Well, since we mentioned combustion bending, we do have an honorable mention / hot take from Robert C.
Hot take. There's another pun. Another pun. Hot take.
Yeah. There you go. You're rubbing off on me. This is from Robert C., who is our #1 pen pal. And Robert actually does not like combustion bending and doesn't understand combustion band because of the abilities. He personally believes that the ability of combustion bending is too far removed to be able to be called bending, which I can see.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because a lot of it is, it's kind of like, actually, now that we talked about subsections of bending, it's kind of on like the astral projection, spirit projection level, where it doesn't have a clear element that you can see and interact with. It's like sonic booms. It's like, I'm forgetting the word, but it's beams of something that's not water, air, fire, or earth.
Yeah. It almost like Combustion Man almost feels like an airbender to me with how he kind of uses his ability.
It does have elements of that. Yeah.
Elements of that.
What is happening to me?
My big evil plan is coming to fruition live in front of your eyes.
Oh no.
Yes.
Acorn's turning into a punster.
It's like, it's weird that he's a firebender and he does all of that stuff. But I guess if you think about it, I think he just compresses down a sonic boom, kind of like with fire. I don't know how that, because like, I don't know how combustion works scientifically speaking.
It's one thing we didn't prep for.
Completely honest with everyone.
Me neither. I remember it's a lot of pressure in a small amount of space and the force that comes of that. So I guess he's adding a lot of force and compressing air and heating it up so that it explodes.
According to a quick Google, which has never done me wrong in the past, ever. It's a rapid chemical combination of a substance with oxygen involving the production of heat and light. So think of it this way, and I could be completely off base, but this is how my brain is wrapping around this.
Mm-hmm.
If firebenders can produce flames and flames require oxygen to exist, then one might argue that a firebender can probably control the oxygen around him.
Ooh. And oxygen is different from air.
That's
air
true.
is composed of oxygen, but other things as well. So that's actually a good theory.
And they could probably also control how hot something gets. So I think we talked about this in one of the episodes where we had a discussion where it was waterbenders can slow down molecule movements to make ice in the water, whereas firebenders can speed them up to create fire. So it looks like it's a combination from a purely scientifical standpoint, where a combustion man is able to condense down oxygen and then heat it up really quickly to create that combustion. I think.
I like it.
Okay, that's what I'm going with. That's where I'm going with now.
That's our quick take.
Yes. I don't think we have too much. I don't think we have too much longer to worry about Combustion Man anyway. So MC Amber Rodamian in the chat says, I'm a scientist and I approve. See? Seal of approval. I'm a scientist.
Yay!
Science. It never does you wrong.
Also, HG, I like that take. I keep saying take. Apologies. The beauty of being live, you can't edit things like that out. So HG says, I like to think fire is powerful in the way that a brawler is powerful. Earth is powerful in the way that a tank is powerful. Air is powerful in the way that a monk is powerful. And water is powerful the way a ranger is powerful. So I think that really comes back to the point of us talking about the balance of the elements and how they each have their own power, but they also have a weakness that feeds into the other elements. So there's always one that's maybe more powerful than the other, but it gets canceled out by something else.
Well,
let there be light.
Fire bending can be used against water bending with lightning. Boom.
True.
Boom. Got it. That just dawned on me. I was like, wait, in the rules of Pokemon, lightning is strong against electricity is strong against water. Therefore, firebenders are overpowered. But no, they are. There is a very big balance, which I like. Yeah.
Remember your Pokemon training.
Yeah, always remember your Pokemon training. Always. It comes in handy. I knew it was
going to pay off one day.
Yes, I knew all those hours I sunk into that game instead of doing homework would pay off in the long run. Look at me now, Mom and Dad. Look at me now. We have some other questions down here, it looks like.
We do.
Ooh, and we got time for them, too. We got plenty of time. All right. This next one comes from Allie B, who writes, which nation do you relate most to, and or which element do you want to bend the most? I feel like we touched upon this on an episode.
We did on a book recap, but we haven't talked about it on AvaTalk.
Oh, okay. Well, you go first.
Oh gosh, which nation do I relate to most?
Yes.
I relate most probably to the Earth Nation, the Earth Kingdom.
Yeah.
Because I love forests and greenery and nature. And I actually grew up in Florida, which has a lot of water, a lot of sand, a lot of sun, and a freaking ton of palm trees, which I don't like. But I love the lushness of like the Northeast and the mountains and the forests and all of the beautiful landscape. So I feel like the Earth Kingdom has most of that, more than any other place in the world. But I think I would be a waterbender.
Interesting. Yeah. So I'm going to change my answer from the last time we talked about it. Mostly because I don't want to say Earth Kingdom as well. Although that's where I would love to live because there's so many different kinds of places and it's just really cool. I think for me, it'll be the Southern Water Tribe because I grew up in Massachusetts where gets frigidly cold and it just kind of stopped bothering me at some point. Like, I mean, there's cold and then there's like below zero where that starts to bother me, but you kind of get used to it and all that. I also think, like, on a little more personal note, it's interesting to me that this culture has been surviving as long as it has without any real cultural identity. And I kind of feel that way a little bit with like my family. Like my grandfather was an orphan. So we don't really know too much about like what came before him in terms of his parents. So like that's only like 2 generations ago. So it's always been kind of like what defines, you know, like you watch TV and they're just like, that's not what a Matthews does. You know what I mean? Like it's that kind of like familial identity doesn't exist for my family, which is very interesting. And I kind of find like a little bit of a similarity between the Southern Water Tribe and Sokka, surprise, surprise, and me and what kind of like my family is like. So that I'm going to say I relate to that the most, but I don't want to live there. I don't want to live in the Southern Water Tribe. It's
a lot of ice.
It's so much ice and it's so cold all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, if I could be like a cheat, maybe say, actually, you know what? The Fire Nation doesn't look so bad anymore. Some parts, as we've been journeying.
If you like Iceland, you'll love the Fire Nation.
Yeah, it's really nice. So let's just say if I want to live somewhere, I'll go live on the Ember Islands because that seems like a lot of fun. I'm gonna go hang out with all the rich kids there, and we're gonna Lo and Lee. We're gonna hang out with oh geez, I can't remember his name again. What was his name?
The teenagers?
The teenagers. Why can't I remember their name right now?
Because
Whatever.
I can't remember their names right now. That's why.
Them. Eric Van Denton. Eric Van Denton's character. That's who I want to hang out with. For sure. Okay. And then the element I want to bend the most is fire. It's always fire.
Well, that's perfect then.
Well,
so you're just a Fire Nation citizen.
So here's also something very interesting too. I always liked firebending. It looks so cool. It's like so many really like interesting uses for it. And I started playing the Amazon new MMO New World, and I immediately went to the ice magic. I used the fire magic for like 10 minutes, and now I'm just like fire or ice magic all the way. So I say fire, but like I feel like maybe I just don't want to be a waterbender. I'm like a waterbender
in denial.
In denial, exactly. Oh man,
that would be a cool story too. Someone who's a bender in this world who doesn't want to be a bender.
Yeah, of their element specifically. That'd be really cool. We haven't seen that yet, I don't think.
No.
Maybe we'll see it in the future. And you know what they say? Denial isn't just a river in Egypt.
They do say that, Greg, every day.
I had to do it. All right, what's next?
What's next? Well, Marin O asked basically the second part of that question. If you had to choose an element to bend, what would you choose? So for you, it's going to be fire bending. And for me, it's going to be water bending. And I did spend a decent portion of that conversation wondering, am I really just saying I want to be a swamp bender because I want to live in the Earth Nation, but then also still be a water bender? I might be saying that. I could be a swamp bender in denial.
Swamp bending is really cool though. Like, especially after
it's pretty cool.
well, more what Doe does with it, with like making freaking vine armor, which is so cool.
Monsters.
He becomes a swamp. He becomes Swamp Thing.
He does.
It's
basically
so cool.
Swamp Thing.
It's really neat. Like, it's a really ingenious way to use this ability and to protect himself. The armor in Avatar: The Last Airbender is just amazing. It's just like they take something as simple of an idea as just like, oh, you just shoot fire from your fist. Oh, you just manipulate the earth around you. Oh, like water, you can just like make it do whatever you want. And they turn it into like crystal armor, or being able to control vines, which are interconnected in the swamp. So you can like make this crazy armor that just endlessly regenerates. So you're always safe in there. It's just really cool. But yeah, I forgot what your point was because I went off on a tangent. I'll admit it.
I was just saying I'm probably a swamp bender in denial.
Yeah.
That's very, very possible.
Yeah. But why'd you be in denial about that? It's so cool.
It is cool, but you know, having grown up in Florida, there are swamps there, and so I'm a little biased towards mountains and forests and dry places versus like you're standing in feet of water at all times. It's moist, it's humid,
you never get dry
swampy.
Ever.
Yeah, basically.
I hear you.
They don't wear clothes in the swamp for a reason.
Yep. So gross. So gross. I just picture clothes with moss on them at all times is what I'm at. Yeah, that's what I mentioned.
You'll mold just by living in the swamp if you wear clothes.
No. Okay, I think this next one is our final one. And it comes from last question. It comes from Devonte G. And then they write, I would love to learn what bending both of you prefer to be if you were in the Avatar universe. Another one of these. Well, That's
right. I forgot. We grouped them up. So how can we change this a little bit?
That's what I'm trying to think right now. Let's say this. What
if each of the sub bending types was their own bending? Like, what if you couldn't do earth bending and metal bending? You had to do just one. So any of the bendings in the universe, in the Avatar universe.
So you could only do like. So wait. Sorry. Are you saying that earth bending is separate from metal bending?
Right.
Okay. I think I'd want combustion bending because it's like I think I would, but I don't like how it's like focused on the forehead. Like I wish that it would just be like on your hands or something. Like I can just do like Dragon Ball Z blasts all the time. That's really what I want to do is Dragon Ball Z blasts all the time. And I also feel like you could probably fly pretty well with combustion bending. You could just like
you'd be Iron Man.
Yes. You could be Iron Man in the Avatar world with combustion bending.
I love it.
You would just need a metal bender to make you.
You don't have to worry. Make you armor.
Yeah.
So if you tumble, you won't like really hurt yourself. But what's cool about that though is if you train enough and become strong enough, you will always have your bending versus like having to rely on some kind of fuel or whatever Tony calls the thing in his chest.
Oh, the arc reactor. The arc reactor.
Arc reactor, yeah. You don't have to worry about like running out of power because it's you. You're the power.
That's true. That's very, very true. I think combustion bending is my final answer, but they're so cool. All of them are so cool. I don't know. I can't just pick one. I'm not great at picking things. If anyone's ever like watched me stream and it's like, oh, make a decision, I just like ask chat to make the decision because I'm not great at doing it.
Greg's like, I think A sounds good.
A sounds
no, wait, B.
But C. Oh man, look at C.
C is great.
Look at C.
Chat, help me decide.
Yes, and that's why I never beat Fallout 4.
Oh, really? Is that why?
They're just like, join us. And if you join them, the other person's the enemy. And I go, I'll get back to you. And then I did every single mission up to as high as I could before making a pivotal decision, and I just peaced out.
And then he just quit. He just quit the game.
I just Homer Simpsoned into the bushes and was like, you stay right there. I'll think about it. And I've never gone back.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm over here thinking about my number one choice, bending choice in the Avatar universe. I might need a list again. Can you run us down one more time?
Well, sure. Now that I closed it, hold on. Here we go. We have water bending, blood bending, healing, spirit bending, earth bending, lava bending, metal bending, seismic sense, fire bending, combustion bending, lightning generation, lightning regeneration or redirection. Damn it, I did it again. Air bending, flight, spiritual projection.
All right. Well, as soon as you started reading through them, I knew instantly, and this is going to be so cliche for listeners of the podcast who have gotten to know me and know my connection to Katara, it'd have to be healing. I would love the ability to heal people.
After I was like, lame. Lame Acorn. It's really her favorite one.
Yes.
I'm terrible.
It's just so me too. I just want to help. I just want to help people.
And I just want to blow things up, apparently.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Oh my gosh.
So good. Let's take this because we're almost out of time. Let's take this opposite. What is your least favorite bending?
Oh, good.
Like we'll include the subsets of that too.
Okay. Least favorite, just off of the list that we've read, is actually probably spirit bending, projection.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like that's really risky. I don't know. Maybe I've like watched enough shows and movies and read enough books about stuff like that. It's like, you don't mess around with ghosts. You don't mess around with spirits. And if you're throwing your spirit into the world, into the universe, something could eat it.
Do you want to hear?
That's my immediate reaction.
Do you want to hear the definition of spirit bending?
I might as well because I haven't watched Korra to see this.
Spirit bending
in Avatar application.
I'll try to not read out anything that's too spoilery. But spirit bending is a variation of the healing technique, which allows the user to instill a balance or imbalance within spirits. That's a spoiler. To perform the technique, a waterbender encircles the spirit with a thin stream of water, which begins to glow when the technique is taking effect. When used to change a spirit's negative energy into positive energy, the water, followed by the spirit, will begin to glow a golden light, at which point the spirit dissipates or assumes a pacified form. So it's basically, according to the wiki, which is all we have to go on at this point, it's weird that it says, anyways, sorry.
It's not projecting your spirit. It's projecting, it's bending with spirits.
Yeah. So it's what Aang did to Heibai, essentially.
Healing Heibai. Yep.
Healing Heibai. That's very layman's terms, but that's kind of what the vibe it gives me right now.
Going off of what we've covered so far on the podcast, because actually, as you were reading that out, I was vaguely remembering the first season of Korra, where there was some spirit stuff going on. So yeah, right off the bat, based on my obviously incorrect understanding of the sub-bending type, that one makes me the most uncomfortable, but after hearing about it, probably wouldn't be that bad. Other than that, I think I have to say combustion bending. It just seems very dangerous.
Wow. Just cut me off right
Greg.
at the knees. I'm a dangerous man. Got dangerous bending. I think my least favorite is probably spirit bending after reading that definition.
Yeah.
Well,
why is that?
You can manipulate a spirit at its core to be good to bad to bad to good. That's power right there.
Oh, true. So actually, if someone other than Aang or someone with very good intentions and a good moral compass has that ability, then they can just go around and really screw people up.
I wonder if it can affect the avatar spirits. So and therefore
corrupted avatar.
Therefore, you get a corrupted avatar state.
Oh dear.
Potential. I don't know. I'm purely making this up at that point, but
pure speculation.
Yes, but we've seen Roku in spirit form. Who's to say you can't manipulate that? toe could go from bad to good, but Heibai, as we've seen, goes from good to bad. Like, it just seems like you can just make a kaiju pretty easily that just disappears into the night, essentially. So that seems very scary to me, much more scary than anything like, I don't know, combustion bending, where it's just physical destruction.
And
That's
yet
all.
Combustion Man lost an arm and a leg from this ability.
I'd like to think that he lost it separately. That was not involved in his bending by any means.
It was a childhood accident or something,
it was
not related to his bending at all.
What if it was, though? What if it was a childhood? What if he was a prodigy firebender and then he lost his limbs in, like, I don't know, some poor accident? And then the reason why he developed this style of bending was because he couldn't bend the typical way.
It's a good theory, Greg, but unfortunately, I have to inform you that it is canon.
Damn it.
That Combustion Man lost his limbs because of his abilities.
Damn it.
Good try.
It's fine. It's fine. HG says he was working in a factory and got his sleeve stuck. Hashtag unionize.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what it is. That's what it is in my mind, which is not accurate at all. It is canon that he lost it from combustion bending. Okay. Well,
in an alternate fan fiction world, that would be a very funny story.
It'd be really cool. It'd be very much up the world of Avatar: The Last Airbender, where you can't stop who you are based off of a physical impairment or a mental impairment or like anything. Like you are who you are. Nothing will stop that. Is a very big theme in Avatar. So, and yeah, and to quote the great scientist Ian Malcolm, life finds a way. Yes, that's another Jurassic Park. You're welcome. You're welcome. I only ever quote fictional scientists in my life. That's where we're at. And I
Seems
think,
very on brand for you.
you know, you got to stick with the brand here. And that's it. That's all the time that we have for today. We've gone through all of the emails. Thank you, everyone who wrote in. Remember, if you're watching this for the first time and you're not aware, we are part of Avatar, the podcast. So find that wherever you get your podcast and listen to it. We go through every episode of Avatar, The Last Airbender. If you've come to this episode late, no big deal. It'll go up on our YouTube this weekend / early next week, basically whenever we can. That's over at youtube.com / Avatar the
podcast.
I was pausing for dramatic effect.
You usually pause after Avatar, so I was sweeping in to assist you.
Thank you. I appreciate you
Try
having
again,
my back.
from the top.
No, it's too late. We're past that. This is live. We can't say things again.
No editing.
Legend of Drost, you guys are awesome. Oh, thanks, dude. Appreciate it. I think that's one of our lovely listeners and Twitter followers, I think, who retweeted the live tweet that went out. That was really cool. I think. I could be completely wrong. You tell me if I'm full of crap and we'll do that. Anyways, I'm going to be going live in just a few minutes over on my channel. We're going to be having Phone a Friend Friday, so be sure to hang out for that. We'll raid over to my channel. It might be a minute or two where it won't be live. Don't worry, it'll go live. Everyone say goodbye to Acorn, how wonderful she is.
And if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, please go visit Booster Greg on Twitch.
Yeah.
Twitch.tv / Booster Greg on Mondays and Fridays.
Yes, at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember, if you don't, where'd I put them? There they are. If you don't already have these, I cleaned up my desk. I don't know where anything is. If you don't already have these, you can go over to Joyson Studio. What is it again?
Joysons.com.
Joysons.com.
JOYSANS.com.
Not Joyson Studio. It's Joyson.com. Or
it's Joyson Studio, but the website.
The website.
Yeah.
Or go to Etsy and pick up these two. Well, basically, where everyone picks these up, pick them up. They're so cute. They're so good.
They're so cute.
Everyone, thanks so much for hanging out. Here are the end credits. We'll see you next time. Last Friday of the month. Bye.